Hello everyone. Now, today's episode is one that has been in the works, I suppose, for quite a long time here, and I'll kind of explain what the game plan will be for today's episode. Now, for those of you just discovering this space, my name is Michael, and you have landed in Sovereign Sandboxing, the YouTube channel where we build, play, and reflect on games that let us shape our own story. And yes, ever since building lots in Far East Square and also building lots in Bluewater Village, every episode that I had built out there, every speed build that I have done, I've always critiqued my own work here and there and have always added a little something to the list of things to do when it comes to updating these lots and creating some sort of an edit episode. And that's what today's episode is really all about. We're revisiting the work that I have done in prior episodes before, and we are just going to combine them into one big edit episode. And by big edit episode, I really mean something that isn't as large as some of the other episodes that I have released on my channel here, which is kind of funny. But anyways, as I went to redo a lot of the work, I quickly discovered that the edits that I was making for each of the lots really didn't amount to a whole lot of footage that would be enough to fit into one episode, because originally I was going to split up the Far East Square edit episode from the Bluewater edit episode. However, when I actually went to film the edits for both of them, it just turned out that I didn't have enough footage. So I just decided to combine them all into one episode, which is the one that you guys are getting here. So with all of that said, let's just dive in and start with some of the Far East Square edits. So we're just going to jump right into it and cycle through the Far East Square edits in reverse order, of course starting with the last lot that we built in Far East Square, which was the art gallery. And yeah, I'm just going to cycle quite quickly through the Far East Square edits. And again, like explained a little earlier, the reason for that is just really because I only was making really small edits, and as opposed to my Midtown edits episode where it was a lot more lengthy and there was a lot more work to do in that. This one was like, this time around for this neighborhood, there was just a lot of tinier edits that I just needed to make and just needed to polish up here. So there really wasn't too much footage that I could capture to warrant a full dedicated Far East Square edits episode. So that's why that's why I have combined it with the Bluewater Village house edits as well. And I also just wanted to mention, speaking of which, for the download links for each of these lots, I have pinned a comment for each speed build video that directly links it to the Sims 3 pack download that I've put on the Sims file ShareNet, which is the website that's really hosting all the downloads for my SimCity world and for all of my Sims 3 lot creations. So I have dropped a pinned comment in each of those speed build videos so that you guys can have convenient access to each of those links. And in this video itself, I have dropped a pinned comment to each of those previous videos so that you can just quickly navigate, click on the video, then find my pinned comment, and then click on the Sims file share net link. I haven't been very good at including download links in the description box, so I do apologize for that, but I kind of figured that a really great workaround for that is just using pinned comments in my videos. So I will do better at being more diligent about that. So yeah, each of the pinned comments will lead you to the Sims file share. It will have the most updated lot that I have released at that time. And so by the time you guys are watching this video, those comments are probably already a couple of days old, because I'll be smart enough to to comment and all that. Anyways, let's talk about the work right in front of us here. And I have to say, like, when I went back to do the Far East Square edits, it was a lot of tiny stuff that I was doing, even in the art gallery, which I felt had the most extensive edit work that I needed to actually do here. It really didn't take me a whole lot of time. I just added in a couple of things here and there, and that was really the bulk of the work. And for the art gallery, had the most extensive edits, like I just mentioned. And so for each of the lots that come after this, there are barely, if any, edits. And I know for a fact that for the House of Blue Leaves, which was the first lot we did in the Far East Square, that one didn't have any edits. I actually stand by my work there. And so that kind of just leads me to believe that maybe I am being a little overly critical of my work when I review my own episodes and when I go to edit these speed builds. But, you know, there's nothing wrong in the same breath with just kind of giving something a little final polish and just walking away from something and coming back. And I think that a lot of times, like especially in this round of lots, when I've come back to each of these lots, I really do stand by my work when taking some time away from them and then coming back. So, you know, I find that's kind of, you know, either it shows that I'm a little overly critical of my own speed builds, or it just kind of shows that I really need to step back and let the lot do its thing. But yeah, in the art gallery, I did a lot of really basic things here. I wanted to add a room for architectural drawings and to like help your Sims skill up in that way with the drafts board or the drafts table. With that drafts table, you can, you know, practice your architectural drawings for the architecture career that came with ambitions, or you can practice, you know, drawing for the fashion or stylist career. So you do fashion drawings. I've included this drafts table in a couple of places, one being in the Gast district, which was the stylist community lot in the Midtown neighborhood. And I've also included it in the library as well. So there's like plenty of opportunities to skill up if you need to use that particular object. However, I felt like it fit the it fit the art gallery, and it just kind of made sense to me that we would just give it its own little room here, make it seem a little more private, and just allow Sims to skill up here for those kind of skills. So really the art gallery allows Sims to to skill in all artistic skills there. I also decided to add some stairs to replace an elevator shaft, and really the reason for that is just for fire safety. And I know I'm not like really taking fire safety and fire code into consideration when building these lots out, but I felt like I needed a staircase, so I decided to just delete an elevator shaft, pop in a spiral staircase, and just kind of call it a day. And it perfectly fits. So, you know, I'm not angry at that at all. And I'm very happy with that decision, contrarily there. For the Cyberpunk build, I did fix the issue with the cars. What I had done was I created this mechanic shop. I put in some cars there, but I didn't place them on a parking lot per se. And so they ended up spawning in the parking lots that I intended for players to actually use for their own vehicles. So I made sure that that is no longer an issue. And I just kind of replaced the, the vehicles in question with just like an ad for the showroom. So it was a very easy fix and something that I just needed to make happen quickly. I was also very critical of the apartment unit in of itself in the Cyberpunk Part 3 episode, and you know, now that I've come back to it, it just needed a little spit and shine really. So I just decided to add in those glowing neon lights from the Into the Future expansion pack just on the main level there, and that just really that just really helped bring the effect that I was really looking for in that particular space. As for the rest of the edits in Far East Square, it's a lot of just like tiny things here and there. I mean, in the Martial Arts Academy, I just rearranged some objects a little bit just to make the space make a little more sense. And then the same thing can be said for the Far East Square apartments as well. So, and I made no edits to the House of Blue Leaves. So with that, we're really done with the Far East Square neighborhood and the lots there. And like I said, you can find those links to download on each of their speed build episodes in a pinned comment. So the bulk of today's episode is really the redo of the very first balcony that I did within Bluewater Village. It was the very first lot that I actually did in Bluewater Village, and it was my first bungalow as well that I did in that neighborhood. And I have built bungalows before, however, I've never been like a huge fan of building bungalows. I think I've explained that struggle before, and I just feel like the form of them and trying to be able to accommodate for, multiple bedrooms within one level, like it's really something that I have to be very careful with. And I really only think that I've gotten right a few times. Like I find it a lot more challenging than doing a two-story, for example, because with those, I always place the bedrooms on the second level. And so, yeah, I think it's just like really the division of space between private and public interior spaces that I think kind of confuses me and throws me off a little bit when building out bungalows. But anyways, I really hated the first bungalow after I had built it. And, as I was building the rest of Bluewater Village, I was able to at least enjoy the rest of the builds. Like I started getting better is really what I'm trying to get at there. And I've had some success with other bungalow builds, like I did another sort of suburban bungalow build a few episodes later, and then there was the mid-century modern house, which I consider to be a bungalow, even though it does have an upper loft space. But anyways, this one needed a complete redo, and as you'll see right before your very eyes, I completely changed the entire thing except for the exterior color scheme, because I really did like that seafoam green color palette, and so I decided that I wanted to stick with it. Now, as I have mentioned many times and continue to repeat, like part of the look and feel that I'm going for with Bluewater Village is to kind of make every house have some sort of shade of blue or some sort of shade of like teal, just to really reflect that Bluewater name. And so it's going to be continued throughout all of the other single family homes. And I also just wanted to mention as well that I did download another downloadable object content. And if you know me, you know that it's kind of rare for me to actually go on download or custom content downloading sprees. However, this time I was able to find a garage door that's only 3 tiles wide, and I just felt that it was absolutely perfect. So I decided to download it because I do plan to use this object a lot in upcoming bridge view builds, which is something that is way down the road. It's on the horizon, but it's not something that's happening anytime soon. But I did want like a 3 wide garage door for those builds mostly. But I also felt that having this one having the regular size garage door and the shorter 3 tile garage door was a look that I wanted to go for here. The only thing is that it does make this home feel very garage door heavy, like that's where the focus is. However, that is a critique that has been applied to a lot of North American single family homes, suburban style homes specifically, is that the garage is taking front and center of the attention. So, it kind of falls into that same critique and look and feel, which, Bluewater Village is indeed a North American suburb that just uses a lot of blue within it. Or at least I like to think of it as, anyways. But yeah, I'm very excited for that new object that I downloaded. Now I did, when it comes to like building out the exterior there, I decided to do something different. We are way past this point now, but I decided to screenshot the exterior because I feel like you guys would be more interested in seeing the actual video footage of the build out for the interiors and what those kind of techniques look like. So, I'm totally opening myself up to feedback in that regards, because I just filmed the interiors and decided to screenshot the exteriors, since the exteriors is really done the same way over and over again. And so I decided that I really wanted to just kind of cut to the chase here and just get to the interior design and object placements there. I will have to eventually grow as a YouTube creator here and a filmer, I suppose, and figure out more interesting ways to show these speed builds. However, for the time being, I felt that screenshotting the exteriors was just going to be good enough. And I feel like it's going to be an approach I'll take for at least another speed build in Bluewater Village. So Let me know what your thoughts are on that, just in case it was something that was completely garish and unexpected and something that you didn't like. So, again, you can sound off in the comment section if you wanted to leave that kind of feedback. For the interior of this home, I really wanted to like base it off a floor plan that's based off of a real home that's built in I don't even know where it's built in, but it's in the suburbs of the United States. So it's just like perfect. This will be the floor plan that I use. It's a lot larger as well, which is something that I like. I feel like personally when it comes to suburban single family homes, that your master bedroom, like in a two-story, your master bedroom should be on the second floor. That's just a personal opinion of mine. I went over that one extensively in the previous Bluewater Village build. But another opinion of mine is that if you're going to have a single family home like this, if you're going to take up such a big footprint, that you should at least have like a couple of bedrooms that are on ground level for bungalows. And so the floor plan that I found was a 3-bedroom home for a bungalow, and I really liked the style. I really loved the layout on it, and now my personal Pinterest board is all filled up with all kinds of floor plans. So going forward, I'll be able to deviate a little bit here and there. So I think I'm stepping up my game just a tiny bit. But yeah, the floor plan is something that I absolutely stand by. I love the way that the floor plan actually ended up, and I'm pretty sure I did follow it pretty much to the exact I don't want to call them dimensions, but I pretty much followed the floor plan inspiration exactly, and I feel like it turned out really well. My only kind of critique on it is the mudroom and the great room. I feel like the great room should be bigger, just because it is the great room, and I would like it to be a lot more spacious. However, with the lot size that I was building it on and with the room sizes for everything else, it's not a compromise that I am willing to make for any other rooms. And the other critique that I have on this work is the mudroom there, the connection from the garage to the hallway that then leads into the kitchen. I just feel like there's something awkward about it, kind of. Like I don't like the idea of people walking through the mud room to get to the stairs that lead to the basement, because the basement is a significant part of any bungalow build, especially. So I put in a lot of like the entertainment objects in the basement there, and I'm not like a huge fan of like walking through a mud room just to get to the basement stairs. But I'm not going back to edit this house because this is the edit episode first and foremost, and secondly, I actually do stand by this house even though it does have some imperfections there, and I think that's kind of where I'm starting to understand my own lot building houses a little bit better, is kind of being able to differentiate between what I consider to be something worthy of going back to edit, or something that I consider to just be a simple imperfection. So I'm quite happy with the way it all turned out. As for the interior color scheme, I keep calling it a color scheme, a color palette. For the interior color palette, you guys, I decided to go with something that was a lot more warmer. I was feeling very fall and autumny at the time of recording this, and I just really wanted something that was cozier and warmer and just felt like that just felt really warm, and I haven't used a whole lot of reds in my building and in my interior designs, so I really wanted to incorporate that a lot more by like using more red woods and incorporating that into the kitchen and everything. So I was really deviating away from my regular color scheme and decided to go with something a lot more warmer, a lot more autumny, I suppose, and it would really lend itself well to seasonal decor, like especially Christmas and especially for autumn decor. But I never really like leaned into that particular direction for this build. I wanted to still keep it like kind of neutral, but still very warm and welcoming. The rest of the edits that I did in Bluewater Village were very small and minute, honestly. And like I mentioned before, I really didn't feel like they were worth filming or even worth showing. as screenshots. So they're just gonna live on now as updated downloads on each of their respective um, videos that I have on my channel. So you can get the updated lots there. But just to run down exactly what I did with each of those lots, and I'm not going to put up screenshots or anything. I didn't even bother taking screenshots. I was just like, this is literally like an object or two that I'm placing here and there. So yeah, it honestly really wasn't worth filming any content for. But anyways, so what I had done is for the 2-story lot, so the one that I did right after the redo, the one that's right beside this lot here, I just changed the windows. That's really it. That's all that I did. I changed the main facing windows there. I felt like it just needed to be a lot more stronger, and I've honestly like made this change like months ago, so you guys have probably already seen the change, honestly. And with that 2-story lot, like it was probably like the first time where I was trying to create a set of stairs with a landing, and it didn't really go according to plan. Like there's a lot of dead space within it that I really don't like, and I still don't really like to this day. However, I decided to keep the stairs there because even though there's a bit of dead space within that particular lot, if I did try to change the stairs, it's going to completely mess up the rest of the floor plans for both the first and the second level there. So I just felt like trying to fix that mistake was just going to create more problems. So I decided to leave that one alone, but you're still getting an updated link anyways. For the modern 2-story house and the house that was under construction, and also the 2-story house that I did recently where I called Soulless and Sterile, I made no changes to any of those. I didn't feel like, even like watching the episodes again and kind of hearing my critiques, I really did change my mind. And I was like, actually, like, I figured that I kind of stood by a lot of the choices that I was making there, and I didn't feel like they warranted any kind of significant changes. And besides, the changes that I would have made would have been very minor anyways. And even when I loaded up the lot just to even check it out and see if I had a change of heart, I really wasn't going back on making the edits that I thought that I was going to make when filming these episodes, which is kind of making me wonder if, like, whenever I do these audio recordings, whether it's just my own self-consciousness just kind of popping up there. But anyways, the bungalow that's kind of at the end of the street there, all I did with that one is I just added a nice like dark blue backsplash to the kitchen. Like, these are the kind of changes I'm talking about. Like, it's very minor stuff, and I've still got it updated in the upload links, so you guys can totally get it if you would like, but nothing groundbreaking, nothing really worth filming. And I really want to feel like either it's a combination of me either overthinking the build when I go to record these episodes and edit them, along with me just simply getting better, because when I was doing the Midtown edits, like there was some major stuff that needed to be done there, and that was honestly worth an edit episode. Whereas here, to make this even worth your time, I have to do a redo, which is fine because this house needed to be redone anyways. But anyways, if we move down the line here, the mid-century house, all I did with that one was I just added a hot tub in the backyard, like I said I was going to do, and I changed the stairs to floating stairs just to make the loft area seem more airy, and it made a pretty big difference, but not big enough for me to film it and take pictures of it. So it's in the download link. You guys can get it there. And then I also, the last 2-story build that I did, I like the one with the kitchen that I said was a little too large. I actually did end up adding a second island there. It looks fine. I probably like will try my best to stray away from having 2 island kitchens, just because I kind of feel like, well, even in real life they're overkill, but I kind of feel that they're almost tacky in a way. And even though it looks good in my game and in that particular house, not the biggest fan, but I felt it was also very necessary, and it helps to also reinforce more purpose for the formal dining room within that particular house build. But yeah, I just added in a couple of counters there, you guys. There's nothing groundbreaking going on that you missed. I did also, for that house, I did change the glamour room to be more of an official like walk-in closet. I know I've been doing a lot of glamour rooms lately, which, in my opinion, is just really a counter in the like an island counter in the middle of the space that hosts your jewelry and stuff. And it just requires like a little more space in those kind of rooms and in those setups, at least in The Sims 3 it does. And with the closets, with the walk-in closet space that I had for that particular house, I just decided that it was going to be better to get rid of that island entirely, just to at least give it a couple of functions. Because even though like closets are not really a real space or anything, I do like to add in a wardrobe or something like that, just to at least give it some function, because otherwise it's just going to be a room full of um full of objects that don't have any kind of functions to them. So I like to at least give some sort of purpose to rooms where I can. Okay, so that's really the rundown of all the edits that I made for the rest of the Bluewater Village houses. And I know that I've probably been like really talking up this edit episode like throughout the entire time, like it's gonna be this big thing. But when I got to it, I was like, oh my god, it is there is nothing to film. So so it was kind of funny in that retrospect, but luckily, because I had to do this redo house is actually kind of saving my skin and like giving you guys something that is worth watching at the very least, or at least in my opinion, it is. Speaking of which, like, just to kind of add on to the glamour room and walk-in closet discussion there, in this particular house, I was able to get in a proper glamour room, which I was very happy with. When it comes to bungalow style homes, I do find that you are very limited on space, and with the floor plan that I was using as inspiration for this particular home, it was something that was really lending itself to a lot of space and giving me an abundance of space. For example, I didn't think I was going to get the mudroom that I did, and although like I'm not crazy about the pathing, to get to the basement stairs, to the mudroom, etc., etc., it's just one of those imperfections I'm just gonna have to live with, but it was nice to have that space at the same time, because now, on top of closets, I'm now getting into mud rooms, I suppose, and or at least spaces between the garage entry and directly into the home. So that's usually where I would put a mud room. So yeah, this home, honestly, like as a bungalow, it is one of my favorites, if not it's top two favorites for bungalows. And okay, to be fair though, I like all of the bungalows that I've built so far. I'm not typically good at them. I know I've said that earlier in this episode, but I think that with the 3 that I've got in Bluewater Village right now, and I am considering the mid-century house a bungalow, even though it does have that loft. I think that with those 3 homes within this neighborhood, it really does kind of showcase a lot of growth on my end here as a Sims builder, I suppose, and being able to actually build out bungalows that function properly, but also are spacious enough to fit like a wealthier suburb. And by wealthier, I'm talking about like middle class or even upper middle class here. So yeah, very happy with the way that this bungalow ended up turning out, and I credit it all to the inspiration that I was using, if I'm going to be completely honest. I think that in future videos, I'm actually going to stop filming the bathrooms of it all. And it's not like you guys won't see them in the build at the end there. It's just that, like, when it comes to me filming these videos and doing the speed builds and everything, the bathrooms honestly do take a lot of time. And the reason why they take a lot of time is because I'm trying to do them all at once, and I am having to like use the eyedropper tool all the time and switch through all the floors, and I just feel like it doesn't exactly make for a great viewing experience in of itself. I've already like kind of got this little war on bathrooms as it stands, because I don't really deviate from the bathroom setups that I do use, and when I do deviate from it and make small changes, it's very small changes. And I've already in the final tours, I don't actually show you all of the bathrooms. I just show you the master bathroom because the rest of the bathrooms are built using the exact same style. So I'm not even like differentiating in terms of each of their interior styles and whatnot from each other. So that's why I've always like really left bathrooms out in terms of those tours. And now that like I have filmed like another bathroom build in my in on my YouTube channel here, I just kind of feel like the time to move on. It's just time to move on from having to film all of that. I just feel like it's just really tedious work here, and it's just bloating the episodes unnecessarily, which is kind of funny because although my speed builds are pretty lengthy, um I'm very slow to realize that the bathroom builds are actually bloating the episodes quite significantly. Because another thing to kind of add on is that when it comes to suburban house builds, I am at least putting in 2.5 bathrooms. This bungalow has 2.5 for sure. Like there's or no, this one actually has 3 full bathrooms because the public facing bathroom, like what I would normally do in a 2-story is I would have a half bathroom on the first floor there just so that guests can use it because they're not needing a full bathroom for a shower. However, when it comes to this bungalow, we've actually got 3 full bathrooms because I got one in the master's, an ensuite, and then the main bathroom between the other 2 bedrooms, and then there's another bathroom in the basement as well. So it's like when I'm building a house, I've got to like take into account like at least 2.5 bathrooms. Like likely even more because I always like to put in a bathroom in the basement as well, even for the 2 stories. So yeah, like there's a lot of consideration and thought and time really that that is really put into building out each of these bathrooms. And it's something that I really don't feel like is groundbreaking. I feel like it's more of a necessary evil than anything else. And I know that there are people out there that just love designing bathrooms in The Sims, and I'm just really not one of them. I just find them to be tedious, but also very necessary. I don't hate on them per se, but I don't quite particularly enjoy them, and I don't think that they make for a great viewing experience. So I think that in future suburban house videos, I'm going to not film the design of the bathroom, and you guys are just going to really see it in the final tour there. Speaking of which, like for final tours and for like the end tours on these episodes and whatnot, I'm gonna have to really do better at capturing the floor plan. I used to do that, and for some reason I stopped doing that. And even in this video, I decided not to get any screenshots of the floor plans for each of the levels. So I've got to do better on making that happen because I really do think that's a very interesting shot to show players and to show viewers. So I've got to do better on that. So note to self here to make sure to get all the floor plans captured for those screenshots for the end tours there. So yeah, for the rest of the bathrooms, I really wanted, or sorry, excuse me, for the rest of the bedrooms, I wanted them to have like greens and blues in them. And the reason why I wanted that is because it helps to juxtapose against all of the red undertones that this home has, and it just kind of gives the eyes a little bit of a break. Even in the basement, I had decided to go with like a nice teal, like blue-green kind of color. It really reads more green than anything else, but I really wanted to just kind of juxtapose all of the red undertones that was going on throughout this entire home. Whereas the master bedroom is kind of like the apex of that, and it really shows like, hey, this is how like a master bedroom is, like this is the master bedroom's interpretation of what the rest of the house was really going for. And that's kind of something I've noticed myself doing, is I try to make like the master bedrooms the height of comfort and the bedroom interpretation of what the look and feel of the rest of the home is supposed to look like. And yeah, that's something that I noticed myself doing a lot, and I think that that is completely fine. So I've got to really like start to get into more like character bedrooms and stuff like that. And even though like these bedrooms are perfectly fine the way that they are, I really got to start leaning into like more personality driven bedrooms that are completely against the grain of the rest of the house. Whereas this, even though like the blues and the greens really juxtapose and really are uh their own thing in this house, it's just like I could have gone harder is really what I'm trying to say. And no, this is not gonna resurface as an edit later on. I stand by this house by the end of this, so trust me on that. um but yeah, I am going to say that I did actually build a much better nursery. I feel like it functions a lot better and that players will really appreciate it. My nurseries have always been, they've just been in bedrooms, and so unfortunately, but also realistically, these bedrooms are located kind of are sized usually kind of smaller in these single family homes, and I find that you aren't able to fit in a lot of those toddler objects within them. And because I'm looking to encourage a lot of family gameplay within these lots, I have always been reluctant to add in like additional toddler toys and such. And so this nursery was actually the right size for it. And so I've even put in a second crib there just to kind of show that this could be like a twins room, for example. So there was a little bit of personality added in, and I really love how the nursery actually turned out. I also wanted to touch base on the bathrooms as well, because you know how I was talking about the secondary and third, like the second, third, and fourth bedrooms kind of being a juxtaposition to all the red undertones. Well, I really wanted to continue the red undertones and the warmth in the bathrooms. So the bathrooms are each designed to kind of have um, that warmer look and feel. And I don't even know if there is like a proper interior style name for it. It's just that I was kind of going for country, but I really wanted to like lay in heavy into the cherry woods and into like whatever I could find as a red undertone. Even the wallpaper, the leading wallpaper and the trim, like the wall part, like the white part, the plaster part, I suppose, um that I like had to go into the color wheel and actually, you know, make it have some red undertones to it just to kind of warm it up, because there is a huge difference when you're looking at neutral colors and all of that and what those undertones pick up and everything. And so it was a very subtle color, but it was something that made a huge difference, because having red walls is just overwhelming for anyone, if you want my honest opinion. I did something that I really liked with the backyard, and I just decided to go all in and make it especially especially tailored for gardeners. I think I had mentioned this in the last Bluewater Village house that I had made, where I was going to really consider this approach and just kind of make this like a dream space for a sim that has a green thumb. Well, I've decided to actually put some action to my words there, and I decided to make this backyard that particular kind of approach. And what I really liked about it was that it was super easy for me to do. I could have gone a little harder here and there with just adding in some additional like small details. However, just looking back on the finished lot here and just looking at what I was able to achieve, I kind of feel like it still gets the job done. And like I said, I'm not going to go back and edit this lot ever again because I do feel like it is actually quite complete. And even rewatching the episodes and everything, it just feels very complete to me. The kind of the problem of working in this particular section of Bluewater Village is actually the tree line that separates the townhouses from the single family homes. And what makes it a problem is that it makes all of the backyards kind of shaded in a way. So I've like for some of the lots, I have stayed away from adding in any like actual trees in the backyard. Okay, so for all the lots I did that, but for some of the lots I had decided to like really pick and choose where I'm putting in pools, depending on the shape of the pool and how much sunlight it's going to get, just because of the trees that line, um, that separate between the townhouses and the single family homes here. And actually, like within this particular area of Bluewater Village, it is quite shaded because I use these trees a lot in the Create a World series to really like border off the Bluewater Village neighborhoods. So that's something that is contributing to a lot of the decisions that I'm making in terms of the backyards and all of that. And because this one is quite shaded, like I'm not too sure if you'd be able to grow a lot. Like you'd have to grow a lot of stuff that would need partial shading, or fruits, vegetables, or flowers that don't require sunlight 24/7. So that's something that players would keep at the back of their minds there, I would think. I pretty much just gave a bunch of dirt plots for this particular garden, and for this backyard I gave them some grass pathways. I slapped in a barbecue, and I pretty much called it a day. I didn't feel like I needed to do much more with this space. Like I've done like little garden areas before, but this is like full on. You've got a passionate green thumb sim that is living here and wants to garden but doesn't want to live on a farm. So that's kind of what I had in mind. I did kind of I did level up a little bit when it comes to building out laundry rooms, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, and a little embarrassed that I'm so late to the game, but I guess it's just because I never had the inspiration like sitting right in front of me that I never did this. Well, essentially with the laundry room, I actually decided to add in counters and cabinets, and that makes like a hell of a difference for just like making it feel a lot more upscale. Now, I'm not going to go back and edit all of my single family homes just to try to achieve this effect, because I still feel like each of their own corresponding laundry rooms still suit the house. However, I am absolutely going to move into doing more laundry rooms with counters in these single family homes going forward. And I'm really glad that I get to do it in this first house here. Well, it's technically not the first house because it's a redo, but in a way, like when looking at the lineup of the houses, it looks very intentional, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. I decided to add in the 90s television in the basement there, kind of as like a television and television set really that was handed down, and that was you know fitted to fit in with fitted in the basement to have like bookshelves built around them. So that was kind of the vision there, and I really like how that turned out for the basement living room. So yeah, I stand by that one. Although like if we had different TVs that kind of had like that were built into like some sort of a shelving unit, much like that 90s TV was, if we had different TVs or just like more options, I'd probably find something that would suit these bookshelves a little better, because it would be nice to kind of have something that was a little bit larger of a TV, not so outdated, because that really wasn't the look and feel I was going for the basement. But you know, I do like the fact that it does give the basement a little more character. So ideally, I probably wouldn't have chosen it, but by the time I had recolored it and kind of slotted it in, it just felt like it was the right decision. Like I said, it gives the basement a little more character, it gives the home a little more history, a little more warmth as well, which is really what I was going for all of the for the entire house. Speaking of like adding character and stuff, I know that I said that I could go stronger, and for the last bedroom in the basement there, we pretty much have an artist that is living there, whether it's a teenage artist, whether you got somebody, a kid that's rebellious or not. Well, they're painting there. So there's a little bit of a story that is going on in the basement, in that there is some painting projects going on, and that of course is a very good thing. Like again, probably could have gone a little more heavier into this theme per se, but I just decided not to. I just kind of, I didn't want the artist and the light painting hobby to like take over the entire personality of the room. Not that I think that the room itself is screaming personality, but I just didn't want it to be like a private little artist studio or whatever, which is, by the way, a good idea for future videos if I'm looking to put in some sort of a basement space. At this time, I'm gonna have to start wrapping up this episode, and I just wanted to share as well that the vision of SimCity and building it here in The Sims 3 does go, like I am absolutely dedicated to it. Right now, it has just been serving as one of the best little creative hobbies that I have been doing just for myself. And yeah, I get an F when it comes to publishing videos consistently. Like I totally hear that. Like sometimes I just drop off the drop off the universe, but right now a lot of things are kind of going on in my life that do require my attention, that are taking me away from YouTube, which is really unfortunate because there's a lot of great things coming up as well. And I'm not just talking about builds that I have in store for you guys, but I am talking about like looking at maybe even incorporating Paralives into my lineup of playthroughs and whatnot. So that would be something that I would absolutely take into consideration going forward. And I know I haven't done an analysis video for a long time now, and quite honestly, my heart's not in it right now for those kind of videos. So I definitely gotta take that cord out of my cat's mouth. My cat is recording with me as well. So yeah, I am very excited about where this series is heading going forward, because within SimCity itself, we are going to finally start a new urban neighborhood. We are going to be starting the Uptown neighborhood, and I've got some interesting ideas for how to get you guys a little more involved as well. So just be sure to look out for any kind of channel announcements on my channel. So I'll just make a nice lighthearted way to get you guys a little more involved with the building process and whatnot. So I'll be asking for more opinions here and there. Now my cat is doing all kinds of things, so I don't know if he's gonna decide to meow in the microphone or not, or if he wants to push it away. But you know how it is recording with cats, they have a mind of their own. Yes, so at this time, if the tours aren't already playing, I've only really included tours for this redo of a house. I've decided not to include pictures for any of the other smaller edits for the other Bluewater Village houses, only because, again, like I just feel like those edits were just so insignificant. And if you really want to check them out, I do have their download links on each of their respective videos, so you can just take a look at that if you'd like. With all of that said, I am just going to take a moment here just to thank you so much for watching. And if you've enjoyed this video, then consider liking this video, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you again, and I hope you have yourselves a wonderful day.